Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Whistle. Today we've got two games. We are refereeing Leckhampton Rovers versus Newton in the first game, Civil Service Reserves versus Painswick in the second game. This is going to be a tough one to film. The games are quite in quick succession. I'll probably be able to document quite a lot of the first game and not very much of the second game, but I'll take you guys along with the journey with me. Thank you so much for watching, by the way, appreciate it. The support the last few weeks has been amazing, and let's jump into it. So, nice changing room. Leckhampton have a nice setup. I think they've got a few trustees that fund the setup, so it's lovely in here. However, it is used for the staff that run the cafe, so I am sharing a changing room with those getting changed. But it doesn't matter, because when I rock up to a grassroots game, I always wear the kit anyway. Makes life a lot easier. But yes, we'll go out and check the pitch, and I'll see you in a sec. We just arrived at the ground, and we're having a pitch change. This place where Leckhampton play, they have two teams. I'm refereeing their second team today, and the first team will get priority for the other pitch. So they want to spread it out because obviously the pitches will get churned up. But both lovely, like absolutely brilliant, so no complaints.
Well, I was terrible today. There's no beating around the bush. I was not good enough today. I was wrong in law. I missed decisions. I was scared to make certain decisions. Yeah, just not a good day, man. Not a good day. But yeah, man, not good enough today. Not good enough.
So we're just about to film the review. Unfortunately, I haven't got the footage of the first game in time. As the team recorded it, I didn't get it back just quite in time. So we're just going to focus on the second game, which is honestly fine because it's more interesting anyway, and you'll be able to laugh at me. This is not going to be pretty. As I said in the car, made so many errors, just wasn't at the races for a few different reasons, but it's not important. You have to give your best every time you step out onto the pitch. Otherwise, you do yourself an injustice, and it's not fair on the players either. So let's jump into it, and we'll start off with a positive at least, a yellow card, which is correct, right at the start of the game. So the ball gets thrown in. Painswick go on the attack. The midfielder beats the Civil Service fullback. He pulls him back and then kicks the ball away. So this is a foul for two reasons. One, he stops a clear, promising attack. And two, he kicks the ball away. Before you ask, no, it can't be two yellow cards. One being, if I'm going to give him a yellow card for the first foul, then he's not delaying the restart because the team in red, Painswick, can't play anyway because I need to go through the cautioning procedure. Although it's not good to kick the ball away, he's not technically delaying the restart, so two yellow cards wouldn't be warranted here. And you don't really want to be doing that 3 minutes into a game anyway. But 3 minutes into a game, first yellow card, off to a hot start. So Civil Service have a throw in their own half, and then this happens. I mean, that is just absolutely ridiculous. 1-0 Painswick. So here I miss a foul. Let's take a look and see why. So the ball gets played in. The Civil Service player slips, grabs onto the 11, which causes him to go down, and I shake my head and I don't give the foul. Well, why? As he tries to play the ball and slips, you can see that he actually grabs the 11's leg. You can see he's grabbing him here. And that causes him to go down. Now, if you can't tell, the pitch is very, very wet. And so as the 11 goes, it looks to me like he just slips. Obviously, this player here and this player can see that he's grabbed his leg. But it's not something that I could see from my angle. So as we come in, you'll see that there. I'm looking, it's behind the 11's torso, so I can't see that he's grabbing his leg. Again, highlighting how difficult it is to referee when you're by yourself, because an AR who would be stood just off screen here, would have the perfect view to see that he's grabbed him, and would be able to flag for the foul. Now here we have a corner for Painswick. So here we have my first decent sized mistake of the game. So the lad is breaking forward, the 3 slides in, is late, brings him down, and we bring it back for the foul because it didn't fall to the forward. Here I reach to my pocket to give a yellow card, and then for whatever reason I decide against it. This is just a clear yellow card. I don't know why I haven't given it. I think I was trying to over-manage the game because I'd already given an early yellow. But it's just a yellow card. So here we have another foul. Let's have a look. So as the ball comes in, the 8 makes a slide tackle and brings the lad down. We have a word with him, and the reason I didn't give a yellow card was because there's not actually any contact. Like, it didn't look like there was much contact, and now it actually looks like there wasn't any at all. If we watch it back, he dives in, the lad pokes the ball, and then as he's preempting contact, he goes over him. So the actual slide tackle, the action of the slide didn't cause the contact. It was after the slide tackle had finished. So for me, this wasn't actually reckless. That's why I didn't give a yellow card. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that's a reckless tackle? Do you think that should be a yellow card? So here we have a quick turnover possession, and we get our second yellow card of the game. So the 2 loses it. Civil service go to break. He pulls him back, and that is stopping a attack. So I issue a yellow card. What do you guys think? Obviously the contact, watching it back, is actually quite brief. As he grabs him for what, a quarter of a second, pulls him back. I tell you one thing though, I'm way too close, right? Like, look at me, I'm about half a yard away, or 2-3 yards. As that ball changes possession here, and he starts to drive in, I should start backpedaling into this area here, because obviously this lad is just going to try and drive forward into the space. So here I'm way too close. As soon as I see this is transitioning, I should start backing away into this area here, and that way I won't get caught up in play. Because as the foul happens, I'm way too close, and because I'm too close, I don't get the wider perspective of the pitch. So because I see him pulling back, I automatically give a yellow card. However, you know, whether it is a yellow card or whether it's not, I don't get the full picture, so I can't make the best decision. So I'm definitely way too close there. But yeah, that's our second yellow card of the game. Here we have an appeal for a foul. Let's have a look. So he doesn't actually make any contact with the Painswick player's foot. However, the Painswick player went down holding his ribs, saying that he'd been punched in the ribs. That's what he said. Again, as a solo referee, I cannot see what's happening on the other side of the players, right? However, the AR, if he was a neutral assistant, would have the perfect view on whether he did. For me, it doesn't look like a foul from where I'm stood, and it doesn't really look like a foul on camera either. So the lad goes down, they ask for the foul, but for me, I haven't actually seen anything that warrants a foul. What I do here is so sloppy because nobody on the pitch actually knows what I've given. So we don't give the foul, so we walk over to check on the player, but we don't give a signal to say it's a throw-in. So players here don't have any clue what the restart is. I need to, issue my decision first and then check on the player. So yes, this may or may not be a foul. I'm not able to tell from where I was stood or from the camera. However, my process afterwards is very, very sloppy. I need to give the signal, then check on the player, and then everybody knows what's happening. We have another corner for Painswick. Let's see what can come of it. $3-0 to Painswick. Here we get a few of the Painswick players complaining about a shirt pull. First things first, like, where am I? I'm hardly even in picture. I'm all the way out here. This is my second game of the day. So that was my first mistake, was doing 2 games in a day. I am not fit enough to give 100% effort in 2 football matches on the same day. So as you can see, my position is so lazy. I'm like all the way in the middle of the pitch and the ball's way out, like nearly out on the touch line. So I should be at least 15, 20 yards further in. Then, as they are battling, again, look, right, I'm all the way out here. I should be in here. I'm probably like 20 yards out of position. And the only reason I'm not there is because I'm lazy. I'm being lazy. And so I absolutely have to get into this area because 1, I'm too far away. And 2, I don't have an angle on what's actually happening because of where I'm stood. Yes, they look like they're both battling for the ball, but here it does kind of look like the 10 is grabbing the Painswick player. We don't give it, and it's all because I was in a bad position. Well, that is half time. It is 3-0 to Painswick, and yes, not a great performance so far. 2 cautions, a few mistakes, and unfortunately, it gets worse from here. So a Painswick player goes down with an injury, so we stop play so he can receive treatment, and we restart with a drop ball to the goalkeeper. Then we make a monumental error. Let's watch. For those of you that don't know, a drop ball is a way in which the referee restarts play after stopping the game for something like an injury. So the referee drops the ball, and then when the ball hits the floor, game restarts and we play. They used to be contested, so you would drop the ball between 2 players and they would be able to both kick it. However, now the law is that they are all uncontested. So you drop the ball to the team that last had possession. So we drop the ball for the goalkeeper, and as you can see, he grabs it before the ball hits the floor. I then give an indirect free kick. So why is this a problem? When you have a drop ball, the game has not restarted until the ball hits the floor. So by law, if a player touches the ball before the ball hits the ground, the referee just has to drop the ball again. I knew that you're not allowed to grab the ball before it hit the floor or kick the ball before it hit the floor. I knew it was an offence. I knew you weren't allowed to do it. And my logic told me, well, it can't be a penalty because it's not a foul. It's a non-contact offence. It must be an indirect free kick. But this is completely wrong. You are supposed to drop the ball again so then the goalkeeper can pick it up off the floor. To make matters worse, you will see that a civil service player is standing in the wall. If the opposing team have a wall of 3 or more defenders, any opposition player must be at least 1 yard away. And as we can see, he's not. So as this ball is played, he's less than a yard away from the wall, which means that now it's actually an indirect free kick to Painswick. So that's another mistake. Then the ball gets struck and there's a big handball shout. And as we can see, it strikes the Painswick player's arm. For me, his arm was in close to his body. He's turned around, but his arm's tucked in close to his body. So for me, this isn't handball. We say no and we play. In the grand scheme of the game, it doesn't really matter, right? It didn't affect the result. It didn't have a big impact on the game, but being wrong in law is just so bad. If we were getting assessed, this was an automatic fail. Like, you can't score well if you don't know the rules properly. So I will be making more of an effort to read over the laws and make sure that they are ingrained in my mind. I think my logic was solid, right? We got to the step where we knew it wasn't a penalty due to the nature of the offence. So we came to the conclusion that it's an indirect free kick. However, for a drop ball, as we now know, that's not the case. But none of the players knew. I didn't know, which just shows how hard it can be to understand all the rules. But it's absolutely no excuse. If I want to referee at a good level, I need to have them ingrained in my mind. No excuses. Shortly after, Painswick go on the attack. Can they make it 5-0? It takes a big deflection and they can. 5-0 Painswick. So just 2 minutes later, Painswick have a throw in a defensive third. Let's see what comes of it. One to forget. 6-0 Painswick. So then just a minute after that, Civil Service have a throw in. So as the ball comes in, it gets flicked on and it flicks up off of the Civil Service player's foot into his arm, which is down by his side. It falls to the ground, gets kicked by 2 players, and then they score. Let's quickly recap on the handball rule so that we're super clear on what it is. So the 2 things you have to think about for handball is 1, is it deliberate? And 2, does the arm make the body unnaturally bigger? So let's watch it through again. In real time, for me, this is not deliberate and his arm is not unnaturally bigger. His arm is slightly away from his body, but it's completely natural for me for the movement that he's making. However, a little nuance to the rule is you cannot score directly or immediately after the ball strikes your arm. So the ball pops up and hits his arm. It then falls to another player who kicks it. It then kicks another player and goes in. However, it is within a couple of seconds of it happening. For me, I don't deem this as immediate. Okay, there's been 2 different players to make contact with the ball after it struck his arm. And so for me, this is not a handball situation to be disallowed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think this is handball or not? So Painswick have the ball in their own half and they play a long ball forward. At some point I've got the score wrong in this video, so I will have adjusted it on screen, but that is now 6-1 to Painswick. Was it my best performance? No. Was it my worst? Maybe. I made the promise to myself to share these games, whether they were good, whether they were bad, whether they were ugly, so that I can learn from it and hopefully people watching can learn from it as well. It's okay to make mistakes, but only if you learn from them. We can go out and we can make errors. This is not the World Cup. It was 5-0. In the grand scheme of the game, it didn't matter, but from a personal standards perspective, we cannot be getting the laws of the game wrong. I think it's Murphy's Law, or something like that, that says anything that can happen will happen. Never did I dream that the goalkeeper would pick up the ball before it hit the floor, but it happened and I wasn't ready for that scenario. I did not know the rule. I will be reading up on the laws of the game, I will be studying, and we will be getting better. Please continue to let me know what you think in the comments, any advice, any ideas for the channel going forward. I love engaging with you guys, and it's great to hear that we're all learning something together. Sorry, this wasn't the best performance, but hopefully you learned something from watching. If you've somehow made it this far, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in next week's video.